WTAN, Clearwater, Tampa Bay. WDCF, Dade City, Tampa Bay. WZHR, Zephyr Hills, Tampa Bay. Listen.
Welcome to the Truly Blessed Psychic Hour. I'm Reverend Marty. I am here hosting this evening with my lovely psychic Tricia. She is here
barefoot
with no shoes on. And we have our lovely lady, Carla. She's keeping us straight at all times to make sure that we give the right readings and the right answers for you. We have some telephone numbers here for you. 727-441-3000. 727-441-3000. Our toll-free number is 1-866-826-1340. 1-866-826-1340. And if you go to the website, you can go to tantalk1340.com. You can catch us live on the internet. And we got a little bit of late start tonight because we've had rain in the Tampa Bay area, and you know what happens when it rains. It's not Mercury in retrograde, right?
Nope, absolutely not.
That's all over with.
That's over.
Now
The
just
sun
pick
is
up the
in
pieces.
Aries, the moon is in Leo.
The moon's in Leo.
Ooh, life is good.
All right.
We are open for all types of phone calls, including if you're skeptical about psychics, call on in. We will take any type of call whatsoever. Well, I open ourselves
I
up.
was going to say, wait a minute.
Let's be careful there.
These are all free readings. Some things do cost money.
That's
That
right.
is true. And if those phone numbers, if you didn't catch those, let's put them out one more time.
727-441-3000. And the toll-free number is 1-866-826-1340.
So please call in. We are waiting for your call. Our psychics are ready tonight. And
I think I'm going to do decent tonight. It's no more I won't allow any more low answers that I was esteeming last week. It seemed like I was off of my game. I think what we ought to talk about to start off with, how do you get a good reading?
oh boy,
I'm going to put you in the spot.
Yeah,
Okay.
let's do that.
Okay, when you go to get a reading, since Trish and I are always on the other side of the table, what do you expect out of a reading?
Tell me everything I want to hear. No,
That's
just
easy.
kidding. No, I think most people want to hear, they have kind of an idea of what they want to hear, but a good reading to me is you're going to hit something that is truthful. It means something to me. It's going to ring true. It's not generalities. When you give me a general answer, I think, well, I could have done that.
Right.
I don't need to be a psychic. I think when people call in or when they ask for a reading, instead of saying, well, what do you see for me? It's good to say, what do you see for me specifically in the form of a career, or I'm having this sort of issue. What do you see? How do you see this ending?
Let me ask you this.
Okay.
I was getting ready to ask you a question.
I'm going to try to stop you, but go
Okay.
ahead.
We're going to see if Kat's listening and knows more. Okay.
Okay.
The thing I'd like to know, do you look to hear from relatives on the other side?
I
People that we have?
love to hear from relatives on the other side.
A lot of times all we hear is what people that, we're having financial issues, we're having this and that, and which is very important. But
Exactly.
I bring through so many relatives on the other side, I often wonder if I'm doing wrong by taking their time.
I don't know, and we're going to get Kat now, but we'll
she
come
was
back to
listening.
this. Good evening, Kat in Oldsmar.
Hi, Kat.
How's it going?
Good. Thank you for calling in. What's your questions this evening?
Okay, I met this dude last year, and we're both musicians, and he has said he was going to come down here for the whole year, and he's never made it, only for a week, and he ended up going back, and now he's called me this morning and says, I'm coming. Is this the one that I'm going to be with the rest of my life? Because I sure hope so.
You said you were both musicians, right?
Yeah, we met out in El Paso. We were both in in different bands. We opened up for his band.
Okay. You know, kind of like that musicians can lead. If he's already sort of sowed his oats, so to speak, got kind of the lifestyle out of that, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
By not coming and staying, then when he does come, I believe that if you both work at it and it's something that you both are familiar with, the lifestyle, that he could be the one that you'd be with for a long time. But it's going to take work on both of you, and you both have to keep in mind the other people that are around you. You know, a lot of times I'll say, it's not that I don't trust you, I don't trust them, kind of thing. As long as you're comfortable with you and him and you together, I guess that's how I want to word it, it can work out. But you can't, if you're expecting to lasso him up and keep him right under your wing, that's not ever going to work.
No, I'm not like that.
Okay, but I see you having a lot in common. I see you both bringing something wonderful to the table. Who has a daughter?
He does.
Okay, is she over 18?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, I see her coming and going in and out of the picture quite a bit. So you
He
want?
doesn't talk about her too much. I don't think they have a very good relationship.
Well, hopefully, maybe there's something with you being in the picture that'll bridge a little bit of that. I'm not saying to go out of your way or anything, but I think that just your very way of life and of your personality, that you'll bring him a closer connection with his daughter.
That'd be cool.
Okay.
Say, Kat, do you make like record or recording or something like that?
I have, yeah. I play locally around here.
Okay, they keep showing me this one song that it seems like you have on the back burner, if you will, that has, it seems like it's got string instrument, and get ready to hear this one. It seems like there's water dripping in the background.
No way.
Does that sound?
Yeah, it's called There Must Be a Rainbow. One of this guy up in Nashville, he gave me the demo, and a friend of mine here in town produced it for me and just did an amazing job with it. And it's a hit.
Okay.
But I have had it on the back burner.
Okay. Keep pushing. Just keep pushing it. To me, the way they were giving it to me is, it seemed as though, how should I say it? Like, you weren't pushing it enough. Make sure it gets out there strong. It's almost, you know what, Kat? It seems like you haven't gotten it to the right person. All right?
Yeah.
Make sure you get it out there. Okay?
Excellent. Okay, thank you.
Thank
very
you,
much.
Kat. God bless. Have a great evening.
You too.
Thank
Good night,
you.
Marty.
Thank you. Okay, looks like we're on tonight.
We're
got
ready.
Jane from Clearwater. Jane, good evening.
Good evening. Hi, Marty and Trish. How you doing?
Good. Thank you for calling, Jane.
Thank. I have a little bit of it's a hard. Let me see. My granddaughter. I have her, and we're talking about something in the bedroom, and she'll look at me and she said, "Grandma, great grandma's here." Now, can children sense this?
Absolutely, Jane. I'm not
room?
trying to cut you off, Jane. Absolutely, they want to speak right away, and I want to say it's her grandmother speaking. I want to say it's great grandma, and the way I'm getting it is, it's almost like she senses her around, especially when she goes to bed. Is she nervous when scared of going to bed or something?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
She comes around at that time, and that's when she feels her around. And I always tell people, kids get to see it because they haven't been tainted. They haven't been tainted by society. They haven't been tainted by there's no such thing as spirits or ghosts or however you want to put it. They aren't looking for the bad in everybody. They're not looking that psychics are trying to take money out of your pocket and that. They haven't been tainted by that, so they're open to it. And when they see it, they find it exhilarating to see somebody else playing with them because, parents are always so busy and so forth. They have a playmate with them. And I tell you what, when the parents give them time out, joke's on them. They're around. They get to see them and so forth. So that was terrible of me, wasn't it?
No, she does sense. Like, all of a sudden, this is my mother's alarm clock. And it'll go off. It's not set for any certain time. It'll go off whenever it wants to when I have my granddaughter here.
Okay. It's always been a touchy thing. And Trish, I would imagine you'd have the same sense. It's hard to talk about things like that because people right away, it's bad enough people look at you, oh, you're a psychic? Oh, you're a psychic. And tell me when the lottery numbers. And Jane, it's... The spirit can do things in the house, and it's not like The Exorcist and so forth.
Right.
It is, they try to show you things. They mess with your keys. Trish, you have some examples on that, don't you?
Did you favor your mother?
Yes.
Okay. I think the reason that she gets a little like, whoa, is because it's kind of like she's seeing you, but older. and knowing you're in the other room, so who is this person? I think that's where more of the intimidation or kind of, afraidness comes from than her actual presence, because I am getting that your mother comes in as a very pleasant, how you can spoil the grandchildren, more so than as she treated you as when she was your mother. What have you had of your mother's out lately?
Well, I have her clock always.
Right, no, but you've either had a picture or...
Oh, yeah, I got pictures and I got her things she's made and...
But there's some... No. They're showing... I'm sorry. They're showing me that, in particular, you've either opened a box that had something of hers in it, or you... Maybe for the holidays, you've gotten out, like, some Easter stuff or some china, something that isn't out all the time.
Right, yeah, in the holidays.
Okay.
Yeah.
Will she want you to share memories of that, of your childhood and those holidays, with your granddaughter?
Right, and I do.
And that's kind of what she's coming around for. But she's trying to protect your granddaughter a little bit, too.
Well, good.
Jane, do you have a pork roast out for tomorrow?
No.
Did you buy a pork roast? All of a sudden they show a pork roast.
Well, I have them in the freezer, but I'm not making one tomorrow because I'm going to my daughter's.
Okay.
Thanks for having roast.
There's something about a pork roast, and I'd want to say that somebody on the other side, which it seems like a gentleman figure, is giving it to me. There's something about a pork roast, and when this comes about, you're going to know that he was giving you the proper messages, okay?
Okay.
This coming Friday, not today, this coming Friday, I want to say there's something very, very pertinent in the mail. There's something pertinent in the mail coming next Friday. Make sure you mark your calendar to check the mail, because there's something good. It isn't a check, but there's something else. Take a look, even if there's some type of...
Does mail run on Good Friday?
I don't know.
Good question.
Oh, that's it. It's next Friday.
I don't know if mail runs or not. Anymore, the holidays aren't what they used to be. I mean,
Right.
all combined.
If it isn't Friday, watch Thursday and Saturday.
I'm just saying, I'm all right.
Okay?
All
One of
right.
those days.
Thank you so much, Jane.
Thank you very much.
God bless. Have a great evening.
God bless you both.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
That's an interesting,
It is.
because my granddaughter always saw things in her room too.
I always tell people,
I
kids.
I found these pictures I'm going to bring next week to show y'all. From when I got married, the house I grew up in, and it's coming out of the window, and it's huge green and white light. I mean, from the top second story all the way down, right on top of the horse and buggy.
Wow.
It's interesting. I mean, and people, I got to admit, I turn around and I'm always questioning. I always want confirmations throughout the reading that I'm giving people the proper reading. It's why? Because you don't believe that you're doing it right. If you take a little 5-year-old girl and she, a child, and they hear something from their grandparents or whoever they're talking to, you hear them, they talk to imaginary kids, they don't doubt it.
No.
They accept it because they haven't been told there's no such thing.
That's true.
They are told that there's God there, and they accept that, and the parents let them accept that. But if they tell them that there's a heavenly angel, that's unheard of. And
That's
once
true.
they get to the certain times,
Then they forget.
Then they forget about it all.
And
But
they
at
don't
least it
see.
gives them the sense of security around them. That's one of the main things.
And comfort.
And when you're not a good kid, like I can talk about, that it's always somebody else to talk to.
There you go. That's like that commercial where the little girl says, "Oh, so-and-so, my friend is here," and the mother gives her an extra helping of the hamburger help or whatever, and then the brother's looking at her, and then when the mother walks away, she goes, "Oh, she's not hungry anymore," and dumps all the food on her plate. Like, yeah.
So,
But back to this,
Yes.
hearing from a loved one. I think when you get your reading for the first time, I know for myself, of course, you always want to hear what's going to happen tomorrow.
Right.
And of course, am I going to have money in my life? Is my career going to be great? And then I heard a message from my grandfather, who I was totally unexpecting to hear from. I didn't care about the rest.
Right.
Because I was very close to my grandfather, and he meant a lot to me. And I think anybody that feels that loss, that feels that sense of, gosh, I wish they were here with me, to be able to touch in with them
Right.
is such a special feeling. And so for those of you that are listening out there, if you're missing somebody,
give us their first name. I will try to bring them through,
Yes.
and I will definitely give you some confirmation on it if it's at all possible in my blessing for the evening. I tell you, that is one of the most refreshing things to me. And I'd like to say, I love bringing it through, bringing the loved ones through. It's not just for the fact being that I love to see people happy. I love to see them understand it. But there's so many people that we all question our mortality. Mm-hmm. And it's great to see that finally you can say, okay, this clown is sitting here telling me these things. There's no way they can know about it. There is a life after. Because everybody's worried about their mortality. They believe in the Bible. Maybe not they believe. But they're always concerned what's on the other side. Okay, this doesn't guarantee that, okay, we do certain things, but it's a guarantee there's more after. We we don't close our eyes. There is something on the other side. There is a sixth dimension, however they want to say it. And, at the same time, when you're down and out and things are going so bad, at least you can, there's something else there for you. Trish, you're being so quiet. That's not
I'm
like
listening.
you.
I know, but it's a heartwarming feeling.
Well, I was going to say that along with getting a good reading, you shouldn't, being the person getting the reading, don't go in with assumptions.
Right.
Because when you go in assuming that either everything that you say is going to be the person tells you is questionable, or if this, and this doesn't happen, then it was a bad reading.
Exactly.
Because when you assume that it's going to either this has to happen, and then you saw how refreshing it was for something to come through. Mm-hmm. We see so many different varieties of things in everything. That's how I can put it. With the different religions.
Yes.
With how people believe this happens or that happens. There's very few things that people definitely, truly can agree on. And I had a lot of different ideas, so to say. And Marty brought this to my attention. An avid reader anyway. But then I have a book on this subject and a book on that subject in every room. And so I thought I was getting ahead by multitasking and reading and everything. And then Marty said, why are you putting all that in your brain? Work with what you already have in there. Exercise what you already have going on and fine-tune that, and then the answers will start to come.
And that's when it's a good reading.
And then so I stopped
reading.
trying to figure out what everything could mean to everybody, so that whether if you were young or old or white or black or Hispanic or my best friend or a complete, it doesn't matter. Bringing to the table spirit, and not having to have a tool besides my gift, and the knowing of what a gift is and connecting. Okay, I know that when the time comes to sit down, that it's going to come through. That it's not in the book on the back of my bath, in the or whatever. That it's not something that I'm going to all of a sudden see on a street sign that's going to change my life. And once people have a good reading, they walk away, they know.
That's what I was going to say. A good reading is you'll just know. And if you walk away feeling good about it, whether you didn't hear you're not going to be rich or you're not going to win the lottery or something, it's just a good feeling.
And some people don't want to know.
That's true.
Hold on 1 second. Let us go through the telephone numbers for you. I know we're having some little bit of problems with the telephone lines, and it's not our station. It's the telephone system itself. It's 727-441-3000. Janice, I feel there's a Janice out there that wants to call in. 727-441-3000. The toll-free number is 1-866-826-1340. 1-866-826-1340.
And I know on the West Coast, it's a lot earlier, so hurry up and eat your dinner and call us.
That's right. Don't choke. Just give us a call. There's one other thing that I'd like to make a point on, and that's, people think that everything is supposed to be so right on. And, And I know everybody that works with us tries their very, very best because they're doing it for the right reason. And I have to say, you hear about, the psychics are fishing for answers and all this. And, I can't speak for all psychics across the world, but, it's like any other thing. There's people that are in for money and for their own agenda. If you have a good psychic, if you find a good psychic, they're going to work very hard for you, no different than if you had your car worked on. You have good mechanics, and you have mechanics that are just there to get an X number of dollars out of the job. So with a good psychic and somebody that's working for the right reason, they will do the best job for you. They have to ask some questions because you got to remember, if you walked up to anybody in the mall, on the beach, how do you know what their life is? When you start seeing pictures of something, you do not understand what they're always up for. So with that, we have a caller.
Great. Pat must have been waiting. So hello, Pat. Good evening.
Good evening. I have a question about, I had years ago a workman's comp claim, and due to issues, it never was resolved. The attorney has contacted me recently and said that the case is still open, and I'm curious to know if you see anything good on my part.
He's a fishing. I guess. I'm sorry. It's just the way. Talk about fishing. He's fishing. That's the feeling I'm getting. I want to say he's fishing, and it's just a matter, and I don't mean to take anything out of it. And, of course, follow up. I definitely can say I can be incorrect, but I just feel he's fishing. Did he happen to ask, did you have any problems out of some medical work then?
Recently I had, but he had contacted me just about the same time.
No, but I say, did he ask you if you had some problems from a medical procedure as well?
Other than the original injury, no.
Okay. I was taken like he was, and this doesn't mean he is, but the old saying, ambulance chasers. It just, that's the feeling I was getting, and I don't want to cut anybody down, but that was just the way I was getting it, the way they gave me fishing and so forth. But definitely follow up on it if you can do that. Go for it. Chris, what do you think? That sounded frustrating.
No, I'm just thinking it's just long and dragged out.
Should I continue on?
I would, but I'm just feeling like it's long and dragged out. Almost like an old Western where it's like, da-da, 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 kind of thing.
I want to say go for it. I want to say pursue it. I truly do.
Okay, thank you very much. I appreciate you guys.
God bless you. Thank you for calling.
Bye.
Thanks, Pat.
Okay, now see, there's an answer we could do absolutely no good with.
Well, that brings up another subject, too. A lot of times when I'm getting a reading and the psychic will tell me something, and I go, no. And then later on, as I'm driving home, or maybe a day or so later, I go, oh my gosh.
Right.
Oh, now I think of that. And I always feel bad because just like you the other night, you think you were on.
Right.
But, we don't know what's going on in people's minds later on, because when you're getting that reading, you're listening to every single word, and the minute that reading's over, I can't remember anything you just told me.
and the psychic has to learn to quit editing also, because when you're thinking, that's crazy as hell.
Right, absolutely.
And that's crazy as hell. But you don't know, I don't know what something means to you.
Exactly.
Where in my world it would be crazy, as hell. I always wondered this. You can pray to God, you can pray to the saints, you can pray to whoever, the rosary, the station, okay? And that's great. But if you ever say that they answered, okay, God spoke to me or
right,
answer, then suddenly you were crazy, okay?
Right.
So, hey, wait a minute, why am I there? And I was doing a reading for somebody, and all I kept seeing was this woman, with rosary. And I said, did they answer you and you're scared to tell someone? And she just looked at me and she goes, I did. And I said, okay. I said, because I kept feeling like you were getting an answer to your prayers, but it was a verbal answer, and it scared the you-know-what out of you, and you were afraid to tell anybody. And she's like, yes. And that's when I realized, don't what I'm hearing, maybe not, but to you it could be the world.
But
Right.
that's a little bit for both of you, too, though. Sometimes when you think, well, I'm not hitting the mark or something, later on you don't get that person that calls you
Right.
back and says,
No,
well, I
and-
remember what you were talking about.
and I've come to the point, I still fight it, but I've come to the point where you have to accept that some people will just say no, and then other people just don't recall it. I know a lot of times I can't explain it properly because I don't understand 100% if they're just showing me a picture in a roundabout way. But it's something as a psychic you have to learn to accept that they're not going to understand, but later on they will. There's been, I'm sure every psychic has had it. No sooner you get done and, oh, no. And it's like, wow. And then they come back and, oh, wow, you know what? And then you're thinking, oh, thank you. I'd like to pound you into the ground right now because you just shot my whole day. But it's because I like people, in all honesty, the best things not to say, there's 2 words in a reading not to say. Died, dead, I guess this is 3 words, and no. Those words, if you think about all the way through you're coming up, what's the first thing your parents say when you go to do something you're not supposed to? No. And it gives you a psychological aspect where it's shutting you down. When you hear the word dead or died, it shuts you down. It's the end of everything. And you know what? I'm not talking to the end of everything. I'm talking to your loved ones that are on the other side, and they are there. They are there for you. They're doing things for you. It's kind of like, you know what? I'm going to have to use this one, and the people that don't quite believe in the Bible so much, when the angels were at the on Easter morning, were at each side of the tomb, and they told Mother Mary, okay, he's risen. You know what? That's kind of like them getting a message. It's the same angels. It's the same angels. They're doing it for us. And I know a lot of people just, they cringed as I was using that for an example. But, I always say, just because the Bible times had stopped, the Bible times haven't stopped. We are still living them.
That is so true. And for those of you that are just waiting to call, not sure yet, you're getting a little bit more brave. Our local number is 441-3000. And for those of you out of state, 1-866-826-1340. We are waiting for your call. So
Okay,
I think everybody's
Marty
sleeping.
said give him a name, okay? This isn't anything rehearsed between the two of us. I very rarely get read. Even when we do fairs and stuff, I'll go sit at someone's table once in a while. Because I try to let things pan out to kind of see if they do. And if I get read too much, then it's too many things, information overload, and I really don't do that. So it's the same person, but this would be the 2 names they went by.
Okay, I have no glasses.
here, let me help you.
Okay?
We are looking at Uncle James or Uncle Monkey.
That's what he went by.
Oh, okay.
Who's Uncle Monkey?
He was my Uncle James or my Uncle Monkey.
Oh, really? Mm-hmm. Oh, for crying out loud. And now you want me what from where?
You said to give you a name and you would try to see if they came through.
I'm sorry.
Oh, she wants a reading.
She wants a reading on the air. You're supposed to be on the other side of the telephone line.
Please.
Well, she's trying to get her free reading now.
Yeah,
I
I am.
understand that.
Marty, so.
You know what? I get somebody other than that. I get a gentleman that's, I want to say that he would be your same age. I want to say that he is
And now I'm going to have to stop.
quite muscular.
Because since
What's
we
that?
can come back to this, we do
Right,
have,
I can do him.
We have a paying customer here.
Okay, go ahead. Go ahead.
Carl from North Carolina.
Hold
Good
that
evening,
up,
Carl.
Marty.
Hey, Carla, this is Carl.
How you doing,
One
Carl?
of the reasons you may not be getting calls is we've been listening from Shelby, and you just came on the air.
We just came on the air just now?
What's with
Okay.
that?
Anything, no picture, no sound.
I was
finally
dancing
called the
around here
station, and
naked.
after about
You missed it,
15
Carl.
minutes, they got it up.
Okay. I know
you.
Thank you, Carl. We've been having problems here. We've had lightning storms. Bright House called and told us they're very, very sorry that some of the signal isn't going out. We got to be good to Bright House.
Oh, okay.
And we appreciate it, Carl. How you doing?
Well, I guess
Hello?
there
Looks
goes
like
Carl
Bright
in
House,
North
no good.
Carolina. You had to make him mad.
I know.
Okay, back to me.
Oh! Didn't that work out just right?
Yeah.
Carl's going to come back. I
know he will.
He'll come back. We'll
it's
get-
rubbing off on me. I think he's coming back.
There you go.
What was the other guy's name? Monkey?
That was my Uncle Monkey. His name was James Robert, but we all called him Uncle Monkey. My dad called him Monkey. It was his brother.
He shows me with him. There's this other guy standing alongside of him. He shows me. I'm sorry. I have a hard time with Uncle Monkey. But he shows me with his pocket. Did he collect coins? Not just regular money. Did he collect coins?
Some, yes.
And I don't want it to be vague. It seems like there was coins. He had coins. And I want to say at one point he had coins that he got out of like a house that was... it looked like it was under construction or something of some point. It's just...
I don't know.
It just seems like he got coins out of a place, but it seems like he gave them to somebody, like a male figure he gave a lot of things to over his time.
Maybe his oldest son?
I can't say for sure. It just seems like somebody that he gave it to that was related to him, and it's like he passed these things down to him.
Okay.
It just seems like a lot of items. I don't know why. He doesn't stand forth and hand something. Did he like Chinese food? Not in his lifetime. He's a Southerner.
Well, there was one Chinese restaurant where he lived. I mean, one.
Yeah.
And that's the only place you could ever get the Chinese food. And we would go there. I mean, one little building.
Okay. He shows that, and I would have to say, if we were doing a reading,
Okay.
I would have to say that he's pointing that out because I found it unusual.
Okay.
Because I know you're Southern raised.
Right.
And just knowing the family aspect, I would think not so much going to Chinese,
so much,
and that he just brings it up like that. There's also something with a rowboat. There was a real funny thing that happened. I want to say a rowboat. Seems like a small boat. It might have had a small motor on it, and it seems as though it was a funny thing, a story that he always used to tell. Do you recall it of some type? I want to say he played with gators. You played with gators?
He worked for the forestry department.
Okay. It just seems as though...
But he did tell a lot of stories. Not like stories like that.
Right.
Yes, he told a lot of
Events.
funny stories, yes.
Why don't we take a break? See if
I
we
think
would
that's
like
a
to
good
take break.
idea.
Okay, we will be back shortly, and hopefully everything will be running. You are listening to the Truly Blessed Psychic Hour. Thank you.
Hello, this is King Trump from King Trump Entertainment. For all your musical needs, I do solo, duo, trio, and more. I play trumpet, flugelhorn, acoustic and electric guitar, and I sing, all with professional backing tracks. All styles of music, literally. So check out my site at kingtrump.com. That's KINGTRUMP.com.
WTAN, Clearwater, Tampa Bay. WDCF, Dade City, Tampa Bay. WZHR, Zephyr Hills, Tampa Bay. Listen.
Mr. Buddy,
Yes,
I'm calling you from Egypt. How are you?
from Egypt. And how is
Calling you
it?
from Egypt.
And how are things in Egypt?
Egypt is great. We're chanting Buddy, 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 Buddy.
Oh, how nice!
We love your program over here. We love it.
Oh, I'm glad to hear that. From Egypt, no less. How about that?
The Buddy Verdi Show, big band music every Saturday afternoon from 1 until 3 here on the Tan Talk Radio Network.
From the Sunshine State, this is Tampa Bay's Tan Talk.
Welcome back to the Truly Blessed Psychic Hour. I'm Reverend Marty. We have Psychic Trish here, and we have the coordinator, Carla. We're waiting for your calls. We are willing to take all the calls from you.
If they can come in.
If they can get through. The local number is 441-3000. 441-3000. Toll free 1-866-826-1340. That's 866-826-1340. We dropped Carl. Carl got knocked off again. We're so sorry. And we have Chuck from Tampa.
Oh, we've got somebody that came through at least. Good evening, Chuck.
Good evening. How's everybody doing?
Good, thank you.
You made it.
I met somebody the other weekend. Somebody my brother's known for a while. We kind of get together, and about the same age, same backyard, not backyard, background, and all that kind of stuff. Like just kind of seeing what you're seeing about anything there. Because I'm very untrusting, and I shouldn't be.
Get out and have some fun. What do you have to get out and have some fun? What do you have to lose? If it's somebody you're comfortable around, somebody that you said your brother or whoever is known for a while.
Yes, yes, very, very comfortable.
Go out.
we talk.
Have some fun and live. You know? And if it's not made in heaven and marriage forever, at least you went out and you had some fun and you got to know somebody.
Yep.
I mean, that's a win-win situation all the way around. And I get the feeling that she's a pretty decent girl.
Yes, I'm really feeling that too. That's definitely the feeling, and I'm feeling that too.
Have you got to see her stomach yet?
The what?
Have you? Sorry, Chuck. Have you had the? Let's go with this. Has she been in a swimming suit in front of you? They show me a scar on her stomach. Do you know of it?
I'm not sure there, but she was wearing like a kind of a sheer thing, so I could see her stomach there, but I couldn't.
Okay.
See if she was there.
When the situation comes about, I don't know how to say this.
I know what you mean.
Okay.
Thanks, Chuck.
Chuck, we go.
Assuming the lights will be on, yeah.
Okay. Wow.
Bring a flashlight.
This is the psychic show.
You could ask her if she has a scar on her stomach, and the reason, what that is a confirmation for you that what, she's a beautiful individual. I want to say for some given reason, she seems a little bit timid, and when I say timid, she's timid in the respect that like she doesn't feel like her self-esteem is very high. Okay, I want to say she's very, very nice, and even though she'll overdo with her personality, it's almost like you have to hand her with kitten gloves or whatever they call that. When you see her stomach on the beach, you'll know that it's correct. She seems very, very nice. As far as a soulmate, not so much. Okay?
Okay. All right. Good. There we go.
There's nothing wrong with going out and having some fun.
Absolutely.
What's
not
with
at
her
all. Not at all.
purple toenail polish?
Pardon me?
Does she have like purple toenail polish or really?
I don't remember.
Well, look and see if she doesn't have purple toenail polish.
Okay. Well, that's my favorite color. So.
Well, all right. You'll be looking then.
Thank you.
Definitely.
Okay.
Thank you for calling in, Chuck. God bless you.
Bye-bye. You bet. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Well, it's starting to get interesting.
It's like when you get some of these, it's like, I'm stepping in deep water. That's not good.
Where's Barry Manilow coming from over here?
Not me.
Not I.
Because someone's over here, I'm hearing Copacabana.
Oh, my gosh.
And it's definitely not like my style either. But I'm hearing that music kind of
It must be Cedric.
Cedric's the one. Maybe we're supposed to play it.
Maybe somebody's going to be calling in from Miami, or is going like down to Miami or somewhere where they would have nightclubs and that
Well, I know
kind of
my
music.
mother loves Barry Manilow, but she's already told me I won't call.
Oh,
nope.
That's amazing. I know there's so many people out there with questions. There's so many people
Somebody's in here because look, I just start pouring sweat.
Wow, you are hot.
Thank you.
It's almost in the respect. It's like, let's see, should I start some discussions that will raise the people up to call in?
I know. I don't understand that. I mean, we've got
not
local
hearing.
people around here that have gone to many psychic fairs. And
Right.
in fact, there's people out there right now that have said, the next show.
I'll call.
The next show, I promise, I'm going to call.
Right.
So here's your number: 441-3000 if you're local, and if you're out of town, 1-866-826-1340. We'll be gentle. I promise I will make sure that our psychics are tamed a little bit. And if you don't want to use your name, don't use your real name. All we need to do is hear your voice.
It just call in, and we won't tell you that you're pulling our leg with your name. We won't. I promise we won't do that. But and we don't have to use any other type of names on the line. It's a chance for you to find out what psychics are like. It's a chance for you to ask the questions that you're wondering about your past loved ones, your anybody on the other side. Sometimes we can connect, sometimes we cannot. It's a hit and miss. And maybe with the radio conditions tonight, with the storms, we can't connect. Maybe we have bad connection tonight.
I don't know, but it's getting hot up in here.
But that is true, though. Sometimes they don't want to come forward.
Right. You bring up that. Now, I'll tell you something that's interesting.
Okay.
I have a lot of readings where I'll be doing, and of course, I'm trying to get everything through for the individual. And they'll say, who is it? And throughout the first part of the reading, they don't give you like features. They won't show a face features. And it's almost like what they're doing is they don't want them to ponder or be emotional about who that is. What they're trying to do is get a message across to them, like if they're really messing their life up, if they're doing everything wrong, they want to get across what they need to do, not okay, Uncle Fred's here, right. Remember the times. They don't want to get that across. They just want to get across that what they need to do in order to get themselves straightened out. We all mess up. I mean, that's why we live. It's life. And I know, Carla, you mess up a lot.
Do you see that?
I got to pick on somebody. It's just, everybody, it's life. And we're human, and we make mistakes, and they're there to help. It's just, they're not there to tell you everything to do. They're not going to bring the job. You can't sit in the bed and watch TV and expect the job to come to your doorstep. They're not going to go out and make you your dinner. You have to do the work. You have to. God doesn't want everything to be handed to us. We need to learn. We need to understand how things are supposed to work. But they are there to help us. They can give us advice, but they're not there to do the work. Right, Trish?
That's right.
That's true.
Now, I had a question for us.
Okay.
Over the years and working in churches and different things, you're very familiar with, and so am I. We both do, or use, however you want to put it, psychometry,
right,
which is holding objects and getting images or impressions and stuff off of them. What do you think about pictures? And is that like on the same line as psychometry?
When you say pictures, you mean picking up pictures?
A picture of a loved one, or a picture of... Like, I've been going through boxes of pictures. I have no idea who these people are. Never seen them a day in my life. They're from the 30s and 40s. And
okay.
I'm like,
the only thing I do with pictures like that is I end up touching them, holding on to them, and it's just the feelings they give me, however, and how they bring it across. I would say as far as the picture, no. It's like I helped one individual with, they were in a let's call it a legal situation,
right?
And I had them leave the papers in a manila envelope, and all I did was they bring it in from day to day, whatever the situation was, and all I do is hold on to the envelope, with the stuff in it, and then I would get my feelings from it.
Okay, we're backing up, guys.
Go!
We've got Lori from St. Petersburg. Good evening, Lori.
Hi, how's everybody?
Good. How you doing, Lori? God bless you.
You too. I'm wondering, I'm having trouble getting you. I don't have any picture, and I've got you talking. I don't know.
Well, maybe they don't want you to have to look at us this evening.
It's all a dream.
We're having some technical difficulties, Lori, so I don't think it's you.
I'm hearing Trish talk.
You don't hear me at all, Lori?
Yeah, I'm hearing you now.
Okay.
Shall I ask my question?
Absolutely, Lori. We're waiting for it.
I have found out I have sleep apnea, and I have to have one of those masks. And I'm wondering if I'm going to be able to tolerate it and use it rightly.
Okay, Lori, they're showing me to take the second choice. Did they give you two choices on masks or however?
Yeah, there's one that goes in your nose, and then there's one that goes over just your nose.
I want to say, Lori, to me, it's the second choice. Do you know how they presented it to you? Which one was which?
They haven't brought it yet. I just had the sleep thing, and she put this little, I have a little nose, and she put the smallest one she had on.
Okay.
And I tolerated that fairly well.
Okay. Lori, the only thing I can say is they're showing the second choice, and I'd want to say the part that comes over your nose, not the piece that fits in to your nose. You know which one I mean then?
Yes.
That's the way they show it to me. That's going to be more comfortable for you because it seems like the other way just seems uncomfortable for you for some given reason. All right.
Yeah. Well, I'm thinking because my nose gets irritated when there's something stuck up there.
Okay. That sounds normal. That really does.
Yeah, I'm just kind of, I'm going to try to make it work because I need to have some help.
Right. It's going to work for you, Lori. I have faith in it that it's going to work for you, and I want to say that in less than a week and a half's time after you start this, I want to say you're going to see a world of difference. Okay.
Thank you.
What's with your knee, Lori? Lori, what's with your knee?
Because I need to have some work.
Okay.
Lori,
are you having problems with your right knee?
It's the left knee that gets stiff sometimes.
Pay attention to that tomorrow, okay? Just pay attention tomorrow. It's
the rainy weather doesn't help.
I think the radio's
okay.
on.
The radio's going down. Okay, Lori, thank you so much. Thank you for calling, and God bless you, okay?
Yeah. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Hi, Lori. Okay, we've got Beverly from North Carolina. Let's hope that our connection stays on. Good evening, Beverly.
Hey, you're coming through loud and clear now.
Okay, hang in.
Okay, listen, my daughter has just started up a new friendship with a fellow, and I was just wondering if that's going to go anywhere or if it's going to peter out.
Go ahead.
Okay.
You notice how I backed out of that one quick, Beverly?
I think this bus is going to keep on going.
Really?
Really.
Okay, this would be wonderful. This would be good. Is this person going to be good for her?
If she starts being herself, it's like she's almost putting on airs or being somebody she's not.
Uh-huh.
And if she would just be herself,
right,
things would go really good.
Okay.
It's like she's her own worst enemy.
I understand that.
Okay.
Okay, well, that's good. That's good to hear. Yeah.
You know somebody named Rita?
She seems to be delighted, but, it's like I hope the same thing, that she doesn't put on the airs.
Okay.
Okay. That's good news. I'll have to share that with her.
Beverly, I want to say she's calming down. It seems as though she's got, all her papers straight. Doesn't that seem to you? It seems like she's just straightened everything up. And to go to extremes, it's almost like she used to leave her closets messy. She used to just not really care about a lot of things. It seems like that's all changed. It seems like it's
there
changed.
has been a lot of change, and it's all been good.
Okay.
It's been really good.
Stay behind her. She needs the self-confidence, even though she might not respond to you well. Keep pumping her up a little bit, and that's not in a nasty form. That's just giving her the confidence she needs to keep on going, and then she'll pick up on her own pace. She's going to do very well, okay?
Okay, great. Thank you, Marty. I appreciate it.
Thank you for calling in.
Good evening. Thanks.
God bless.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. For another... Can we go? Do you want to go for a half an hour?
I'm game. If
Everybody's looking at each other and everybody out there is saying, "What's going on?"
I have no idea.
Let's go for the.
Just need to break in about 5 minutes.
Yeah.
I think.
Okay.
Did I miss something?
Yes, we don't let you see the screen because if you see the screen, you're going to know everything we know.
That's right.
And we're trying to keep you into the point of, like that zone. There's something coming up on this Friday, and I know it's Good Friday, and it just seems like there's something special
for me.
No.
Oh, okay.
Come on.
I was all happy. Go ahead.
It almost seems as though it's like big breaking news, and it isn't having to do with media. It's almost like a religious aspect. There's something very, very unique breaking news that they're going to be stating on this coming Friday, which is Good Friday. And it doesn't have to do with just Good Friday. There's something very unique, very heartwarming to everybody.
Oh,
and I want to say, it's almost like they find something to back up the Bible.
Okay, I would believe that.
That's
great. It ought to be very, very nice to hear something good on the news again.
And on Good Friday.
Yeah, on Good Friday.
It's the God particle.
The what?
It's called Higgs boson. The God
now we're
particle.
getting too deep now.
No, I'm just saying, they just proved it. Y'all be hearing about it. I didn't invent it, but I damn sure got it.
Well,
there you go.
Let's see if our phones will.
Let's see if the phones.
A little bit longer. We may stay on a little bit longer just because of the.
If they missed us.
Yeah.
Let's go through the numbers again. It's 441 locally, 441-3000, 441-3000, and toll free 866-826-1340, 866-826-1340. We are going to be here after the news, and we will be carrying on, waiting for your calls. I don't know if it's quite time yet, but
I think we can
take a break.
Do a break.
We will take our break, and we will be back. We will be fresh, ready to go.
Waiting for your call.
Okay.
Hello, this is King Trump from King Trump Entertainment. For all your musical needs, I do solo, duo, trio, and more. I play trumpet, flugelhorn, acoustic and electric guitar, and I sing, all with professional backing tracks. All styles of music, literally. So check out my site at kingtrump.com. That's KINGTRUMP.com.
Thursday night from 7 until 8. This is the only show dedicated to providing solutions to help you find the right job. Gene tells you how to match your unique hodgepodge skills, abilities, experiences, and passions to jobs where people are looking for you. Gene invites you to call into the show. You get 45 seconds. Tell us who you are, your background, what you're looking for, and your contact information. Join Gene on the Employment Opportunity Hour Thursday night from 7 until 8 on the Tan Talk Radio Network.
New day, new time. The Prescription Addiction Radio Show, Breaking the Silence, has moved to Tuesday nights from 6 to 8 p.m. The politics of drugs without the politics. Everybody knows somebody affected by too many drugs. Whether you believe in personal choice or personal responsibility, this show is for you. Whether you're liberal, conservative, or moderate, this show is for you. The Prescription Addiction Radio Show, Tuesday nights, 6 to 8 p.m. Brought to you by Novus Medical Detox and Suncoast Rehabilitation.
WTAN, Clearwater, Tampa Bay. WDCF, Dade City, Tampa Bay. WZHR, Zephyr Hills, Tampa Bay. Listen.
NBC News Radio, I'm Craig Melvin. A wild chase and shootout may hold the key to solving a series of murders 2 states away. NBC's Kristen Dahlgren has more on the story.
The suspect in yesterday's Texas shootout has now died from his injuries, but we do know his name as well as a possible link to a white supremacist group. And a search warrant obtained by NBC News Tonight indicates growing evidence of links to 2 murders here in Colorado.
They suspect a 28-year-old white supremacist and parolee, Evan Spencer Ebel, killed a top prison official and a pizza delivery man earlier this week in Colorado. The Federal Aviation Administration says it will shut down air traffic control towers at 149 small and medium-sized airports effective April 7th. This comes as the agency tries to close a nearly $600 million hole in their budget created by federal spending cuts known as the sequester. This is NBC News Radio. Police in Brunswick, Georgia, have arrested 2 teenagers suspected in the shooting death of a baby and the wounding of that baby's mother. They're charging a 17-year-old and a 14-year-old with murder. Parents and teachers in Chicago are outraged by a decision to close 54 elementary schools citywide, saying the closures unfairly target low-income neighborhoods. Mayor Rahm Emanuel has been one target of the most pointed criticism, but NBC's Rahima Ellis says he stands by his decision.
Mayor Emanuel defends the closings, claiming too much money has been spent on underutilized schools with empty classrooms, saying the city should focus on safely getting every child into a better performing school.
And sales of movie tickets around the world hit a record high in 2012. That's according to a new report by the Motion Picture Association of America. There's been a 6% boom, and it's credited to the popularity of American films and booming ticket sales in China. I'm Craig Melvin, NBC News Radio.
At the Oaks of Clearwater, you'll enjoy a lifestyle to fit your needs. From independent living, assisted living, memory care, and skilled nursing. Our assisted living lifestyle provides 24-hour assistance. You'll enjoy meals in your private dining room, housekeeping, linen and personal laundry service, scheduled transportation, personal security transmitter necklace, assistance with bathing and dressing, and supervision with medication. You'll really enjoy our in-house amenities, including a full-service waterfront dining room, outdoor garden patio, all utilities, including phone and cable, beauty and barber shop, and a library. An outstanding activities program awaits you, and so much more. You'll enjoy affordable luxury living, complete with $1 million view. Call today, 727-445-4069, and discover where caring, compassionate service makes the difference.
K-N-O-M-S-A-I K-N-O-M-S-A-I Spells Nomsay Radio. Nomsay Radio is coming to you live from St. Petersburg, Florida, every Thursday night from 10 to 11 p.m. So hide the women and children and turn on your radios. The world is coming to an end and AM radio will never be the same. 1340 AM, 10 to 11 p.m. every Thursday. Tune in or tune out.
Hey, I'm Dr. Pillay.
And I'm Carrie Pillay.
And we'd like to invite you to listen to our show,
Soulmates to Soulmates,
on Tan Talk 1340, Sunday night at 7 p.m.
We've worked with over 10,000 families in the past 15 years, and we really have some great stuff that work for people to make their relationships healthy.
One of the things that we like to remind our people is that love is a process and not a destination.
So we invite you to join us
on Sunday night at 7 p.m. for
Soulmates to Soulmates.
Picture this. Be sure and listen in every Sunday night as the experts from the Florida Center for Creative Photography present an hour of lively talk, answering photo questions, and hear local and national photo celebrities on the show. Tune in every Sunday as we give away several photography workshops valued at $200 each. This Sunday, 8 to 9 p.m., Picture This. The only local radio show talking photography from novice to expert.
WTAN, Clearwater, Tampa Bay. WDCF, Dade City, Tampa Bay. WZHR, Zephyr Hills, Tampa Bay. Listen.
Welcome back to the Truly Blessed Psychic Hour. We're going for another half an hour tonight because we had a little bit of technical difficulties. And if we were good psychics, we would have known that and just came in a half hour later. But that doesn't always work for us, so let us give you some telephone numbers. I'll let you do it, Carla, because I'm starting to laugh too much.
Okay, for our local numbers, we need you to call in at 441-3000, 441-3000, and for out of state, 866-826-1340. Now, you had plenty of time to get your courage up, talk to your friends, have somebody egg you on. Come on, do it. We're waiting.
I keep getting this girl is sitting. They give me a picture. She's sitting there with her cell phone, and she's like trying to get the courage up. It's like, this isn't like surgery or anything.
No, we're not going to reveal your deepest, darkest secrets. unless you ask us to.
Really?
So what type of topic do you think everybody is questioning? Let me ask you that.
Well, we
I
don't
got
wanna
one.
Go,
I got
was
one.
gonna say,
Okay.
We want to stay away from religion, politics, and that sort of stuff. So
Well, then
anything
there's nothing to
besides
talk
that, go
about.
ahead.
Okay, I'm going to ask Miss Carla something.
Oh, he's on me tonight. Okay.
Yay.
Well, you know, Trish and I know you've been around the metaphysical world, of course, but it's in a respect of when you walk into a place and you see, okay, crystals laid out, and I know I'm going to get shot. Crystals laid out, and we have tarot cards laid out, and we have pendulums a-swinging, and then we have tea bags over here that aren't used, and, well, they're used, aren't they? I think in the tea bag.
It's loose leaf.
Yeah, loose
And
leaf tea,
it's all these different things. What is your first impression? And be honest.
Ooh, stay away, stay away. And that's probably because, if you look at any of the old movies or anything, you always see the person with the crystal ball. And
Right.
anything with tea leaves and all that reminds me of Ouija boards. And,
Okay.
I just want to put my hands up and go XXX, stay away.
But, okay, now I've got a
But-
different, okay.
That's
wait,
good.
Okay. The thing with that is also, if it's a gift or something that has been passed down generationally, so to speak, I don't mean fifth generation psychic kind of thing,
Right.
whatever. No, I'm saying if your grandmother and her grandmother and her grandmother or whatever used
Always
tea
use
leaves
that.
to read or whatever, what they would do is you would drink your tea and
Right.
you use that little tea thing, whatever, it was the loose leaves, and then when you're done drinking your tea, they would take your cup and turn it upside down on the little saucer, and then they turn it like 2 or 3 times or whatever, and then they turn the teacup up, whatever's still remaining in the cup, whatever images or whatever would be in there is what they would kind of use as a focal or as a focal point. If someone always used a crystal ball and it was passed down, okay, to whoever,
Right.
okay, and that was how they had learned to tune into their gift, right?
Mhm.
I could see that being not so much ooh.
Well,
as
let me finish
that's
now.
okay. But if you went to somewhere and you walked in and they had all these different things, like if we're not going to, what I think is, well, I can't get to this way, I'm going to get to this way.
Right, that I would definitely
Process of
walk away from.
elimination.
But, I think nowadays, too, everybody is a little bit more open. And so, we all have free will. I always think, okay, I'm going to go to that person because they're closest by the door, and if I don't want to sit here, I'm out.
Right?
But,
That's true.
normally I can tell, just like anybody can tell, really, in the first couple of minutes. I mean, if you're getting a lot of general
Answer.
what I want to say, I could have sat there and told myself that.
Right.
You haven't told me anything that's different, then no. But I'm willing to always give it a chance because, just like you said, that could be how that person
Right.
has developed their skills.
I truly believe, and I mean, because I always came up where my gift, all the way I use it is I listen to spirit, I see things, so forth and so on. And I'm not taking away from those because it's all tools. And if there is anything, as God is my witness, there isn't any time I go into doing readings and think, what happens if they don't talk to me?
Right.
What happens? What happens if I'm up in front of people and okay, I'm supposed to do readings, and what happens? Maybe I won't hear tonight. Maybe AT&T isn't connected.
Right.
Do you both feel that from time to time?
I used to.
Yeah.
And not, if I was to say that I didn't ever get the cold feet of the nervousness, I'd be just lying out loud. But at that very moment in time, it's like they go, you knew we'd show up. We're not going to let you hang you out to dry kind of thing. But sometimes the connection is so natural or so bam
Right,
that
quickly.
before it even, they're already,
You can even think that.
they're coming through or whatever. But what I was saying about like as the tool or whatever, if I go somewhere and that's what they use
Right.
or whatever, and that's their way of connecting, that's fine with me. Except I don't like Ouija boards. I just never have. I don't know any good that's ever came from them. I just that's one particular thing that I don't care for. I have a crystal ball.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, most of the time it ends up somebody knocks the table and I'm trying
Right.
no, don't break my crystal ball kind of thing. I think that the more in tune you become and that you're really connecting. That the less you need cards, the less you need objects, the less you need things. With psychometry, a lot of times, there's not really any new diamonds in the world. It's reprocessed jewelry, how it's remade and stuff.
Right.
And so the energy can be coming from before that person,
Right.
so to speak, almost kind of thing. So it really is back to a matter of connecting with spirit.
Well, that's the thing. Psychometry is actually what you're doing is connecting with, if you call it energy, from that item. But once again, it's spirit that is attached, and in reality, it's what spirit is handing you in any which case. It's just that, to me, whatever I'm picking up on a item is what that possibly that spirit is around it, because it's with that person, whatever the case may be. The thing with the cards and so forth, and the crystal ball, I mean, that's just, to me, it's tools. It's a good way to build your faith, that you get the faith within you. Cards, how do you think you end up with the proper cards? I mean, spirit's causing the cards to fall the way they're supposed to fall.
Absolutely.
I don't care if it shows the Titanic in tea leaves. It's, what are they saying? You got a boat or you're going to sink? Which one
Back
is
down
it?
the hatches.
We have a repeat person here
A
tonight.
repeat.
A repeat. We have Pat in St. Pete. Pat, you can ask a second question. We'll let you.
Thank you very much. I had called about the attorney, and you were doing the phishing signal. Should I change attorneys?
Oh, now she's thinking about it.
I get no right off the bat. They're saying no to that. The individual is good. It seems like he plays in the gray area of the world. And I don't mean that nasty, but I want to say there's something with his wife. There's something with his wife. In any which case, you're going to hear about it when you get to that point, when you call him back. It's like he's, I don't know if you just are fortunate enough to draw the stories out of people, but I want to say all of a sudden he's going to go on with his wife, about talking about his wife, and it's like you're not even standing in person with him, but he's going to go on about saying something about his wife. You know that'll be the correct answer. Stay with him, and he'll get done what you need to have done. Okay?
Thank you so very much.
Thank you for calling back in. God bless you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Well, that's good.
All of a sudden, it was terrible, because I hate hesitating.
Uh-huh.
And, okay, an attorney, and what's the wife? And, you got to go, what's going on? We messing around here? What's the deal? And so you try to understand what's going on. And those are one of them perfect examples. It's like,
I was going to say.
Why? There was, I think one of my favorite readings this week was, I told you about it already, and I was talking with a lady on the telephone, and all of a sudden they showed rotten potatoes in her refrigerator, and it's like, okay, I haven't met this young lady, and should I tell her she's a bad housekeeper or she doesn't cook much? And I said, why not? So I said, ma'am, they show me in the bottom right-hand drawer in your refrigerator, and you have some rotten potatoes in there. She says, no. Okay. When you go in there, just check for the fun of it and see if I don't recall who I was speaking with at the time. She says, well, I'm close enough. I'm going to go check. And I said, oh, good. This ought to be good. So she goes in and she checks. No. There's oh my gosh. There's a rotten potato and it's making another one rotten. And and then you get the question, of course, how'd you know that?
How'd you know that?
I don't know. Maybe you called a psychic. It's very unique, and I'm not picking fun by any means. It's just they showed some of the things that they were telling her. It seemed to me hard to believe. It seemed hard that what she was going to have to go through a little bit, but it was a confirmation for her. And that was the whole thing. Her loved one wanted to let her know that she had a rotten potato in her refrigerator. But no, that there was something. It shows how they're showing things. There's your confirmation, and throw the potato away. I'm sorry. It's just as comical how they do that once in a while, and it's just, it's funny. You can't help but laugh, but at the same point, then I wonder after I get off the telephone, it's like, I wonder what she's thinking. Did he think that we have I don't keep my refrigerator clean? Or another good one is when a lot of times, like somebody that was a housewife prior that's passed away, and they start showing where it's so dusty or what they need to clean or that they're not keeping something up, and it's like they keep saying,
doing
no,
what they were
no.
doing.
and then finally they say, no, I know my mom would just be upset if it was her mom coming through. Oh, it would be terrible. She'd be so upset. So if you want to be on the line and find out if you have rotten potatoes in your refrigerator, the telephone number is 441-3000, 441-3000, or 866-826-1340. And I think we have our technical issues straightened out. I think we're up and running. We have a Class A IT man here that can straighten anything out because he got us up and running, and so we're just waiting for your calls. Tricia, you're drawing again.
Well, I kept hearing la-ti-da, so I don't know where that phrase comes from.
It's the lady with the rotten potatoes.
Yes. No, but what it is like I was saying, sometimes they start coming in open circuit, okay, right? So when it's an open circuit, it doesn't connect. So there's somebody sitting at home thinking about their person on the other side or whatever's going on. So they're putting this energy out there, okay? There are people, all right, are like, okay,
hurry up, let's go.
We're here. We're at the other end, okay? Well, they're doing all they can to bring their energy here. And the people over here aren't making, because once you bring them together, you have a closed circuit, energy flows. That's how it works, the cycle or so forth. And I'll start getting stuff that's like, what do they call it? Not so much, when they say it's a disembodied voice.
Right.
Right. Not so much as a disembodied voice, but more like as a little picture, right? Or words or a tune from a song kind of thing. I connect with music a lot, songs.
Mm-hmm.
I'll all of a sudden start hearing a song when I'm doing a reading. I'm like, does this mean anything to you? Because, which is funny because I can't sing. And it'll be like, kind of thing or whatever. But I'm getting a lot of lately things going on with the world too. Like you were saying, something really good Friday. Or I think the best way to put it is I've been feeling like there's going to be proof positive. Also, maybe not exactly on Easter Sunday, but shortly thereafter, the beginning of May, there's going to be something that is going to make us all pull together. And not in the sense where 9/11 made everyone pull together because of a tragedy. Almost the exact opposite. That's something of great, prolific, something that says, okay, and we start seeing something things to turn in a better direction than it is.
Well, I got to say, in what you're speaking of there, I truly believe what the world is going through economically. I think, and if you look at it, don't look at it as a religious aspect, but if you look at the world and look at the greed that has created over the years,
right?
It's almost like everybody is being taken down to their knees, and you don't know. Of course, a lot of people say, "Well, the rich aren't hurting." You don't know their lives.
Absolutely.
And their hurting is different than the normal people, the average people are. And I'm touching that very lightly, but a lot of them turn their money into God, and when they lose $100,000, that hurts because it isn't that it's going to hurt their portfolio; it hurts them because they have made that their idol. And I truly believe, because if you look at the families that have moved in together, you look at how the family unit has had to come together in order to survive these times. I don't like to reach for things, but it just seems as though that the people are learning a little bit more. And I also see a lot more religion, even though they say they're not going to the conventional churches. I see a lot more people recognizing religion in their own behalf.
Right.
Else.
or questioning. There is something out there.
Yes, it's a kind of a good thing. I mean, if you can try to find some goodness out of this economic, as they call it, downturn. I have different words for the way our government says economic downturn, but it's
right.
If you got to find something good out of it, then that's it. I mean, it's like, when somebody gets pregnant accidentally and they're at a very young age, and you want to find the good part, that's because the child comes out of it. You know what? There's supposed to be something comes good out of everything.
Right.
If there's anything that good comes out of this, is that maybe people wake up and start recognizing we love to travel the islands, and the people in the islands that move from the States to the islands say, you recognize what you need and what you want. And what you want is not what you need, and their life is a lot happier. They don't come back to the States. It's terrible to say, but they don't have to have everything plugged into the wall. They can still use a manual can opener. They don't have to run to the store every day. They make sense out of life, and they exist very well. And I think the world is going to change a little bit. I really do. And I hope it's to the best.
And then you have to think also, too, there's some things that all the money in the world can't buy.
That's right.
And I'm not talking about money can't buy love, money can't buy happiness. I'm talking about when you've worn yourself out physically, mentally, emotionally, literally worked yourself to death.
Yes.
And there's not enough money in the world to fix the problems or whatever, and life goes on. So, people say, oh, well, they've got money, they don't have problems, and that's not true. And sometimes people who don't have hardly anything, yes, they still have problems, but they're grateful for what they do have. Mm-hmm. I've learned to try and say, Lord, I am grateful for everything I have, but if you can help me figure out how to take what I have and turn it into what I need, we will have a winning situation here. I'm the youngest. My dad used to say, how old are you? And you'd state your age, and he'd say, well, you're old enough that your once won't hurt you. And I think in a way that's true. And the older I'm getting, the less I need.
Right.
And everybody I know growing up, oh, you're so spoiled and everything. Well, yes, I am. And I tell my dog, I am the baby, and he is the baby, and my dad was the baby. So you're the baby's baby. You are spoiled, kind of thing.
You okay there?
I think I'm going to make it.
Well,
I'm waiting for the caller.
Yeah, I mean, we stayed
now
on
we're
an
just
extra
doing la-di-da
30 minutes here for our callers that are just sitting by the phone. All you have to do is just press the numbers in, 441-3000. And if you're out of state, 1-866-826-1340.
We're even willing to play Stump the Psychic.
I love Stump the Psychic.
That's always exciting.
It is. Dueling psychics.
Dueling
like
psychics.
Yeah.
We wanted to do that one evening, and we never got around to that.
Right.
Well, I think we will one night.
It's if I could put something out there that I could place as a bet, as whatever the case may be, I would do that, because I have to say, I keep getting this one girl sitting there looking at her cell phone, and she's listening, and it's almost like she's saying, why doesn't he be quiet? And it's like she wants to call in, but she just doesn't seem to have the courage, and I don't know why. It's different.
I mean,
I know something that would probably rattle some questions. When I was in training 2,000 years ago, actually 30
was that before the wheel was invented?
Excuse me. I was always told, okay, and Trish, I'll wait for your answer with this.
Oh, no.
I was always told, okay, you do readings and then you shut down, then you do readings and you shut down, and you say a prayer protection that nothing negative enters. And I got to say that one thing, one of the things that is a blessing to me, I believe in God, and I don't believe that God's going to let any negative supposedly come to me.
Right.
And at the same respect, I don't close down, because I feel it's a gift. And if I walk across the street and somebody, when I get across the street, needs some help, I'm there to be able to assist. But yet, there's been so many individuals that, you have to close your your intuitions, you got to shut your things down. Is that the way you were taught as well?
Yeah, and it never works. Okay, it still doesn't work. But I've learned to rein it in some.
Right.
To where I don't feel like I don't name the TV star who goes around saying, I'm so and so, and this is my mission on
Right.
earth, okay? However, yesterday I found myself in the line at the grocery store, and I said to the guy, I said, you know you're too smart to work here. And he said, I know. And I said, you know, but in the summer you'll be passing on from here. And he said, I know. And the lady behind me goes, well, who's telling you this? And I looked at her, I said, I could tell you, but you know what they say.
Yeah.
And she's just staring at me. And
did she get out of line? Go to
no,
another one?
no. And I said, I'm sure you're a water sign and whatever. And he said, my birthday was the day before yesterday. And I said, okay. And we talked from there or whatever. But it wasn't because it was just what energy
happened?
right there came and said, listen, you need to just tell him, he needs to know this because something right here, right now in his life is at a point where he needs to know
questioning
that this is only a temporary
Right.
spot for him.
Right.
But that lady said, and who's telling you
Oh,
this,
yeah.
right? And I was just like, when I first started doing readings, like in public places, where it'd be one after the other, after the other, after the other,
Yeah.
and I get home and it'd be like 4 o'clock in the morning, dun, 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 dun,
Yep.
6 o'clock in the morning. And this was before you really had the computer and the internet, you know, and I'm like, oh my, you know, okay.
What do
Right?
I do now?
This is when the TV went off and they played the Pledge of Allegiance, you know?
And do you know where your children are?
And you're like, oh, this is great, right? Okay. Okay. And I think that you get to where you can work with it. Your cell phone doesn't do you any good at home when you're on the side of the road.
Right.
So, you know, it's on, it may not be ringing constant or whatever, but it's there. And I think that's like what you're saying. And I keep hearing this, my brother's voice say to me, if you can drive anywhere. If you can't, don't get in the car.
Right.
And that's how I've come to feel about my gift. If I have it anywhere, it comes through.
Mm-hmm.
You know, sometimes I'm thinking, no, please, don't, no, don't do it. But other times, but I've never had anyone turn around and say anything hateful to me or scream and run away or anything.
I think people are genuinely surprised, and they're also, I mean, I've been with you when we've been in restaurants.
Right.
There you go.
I was hoping you'd clarify that one.
And, you know, you've stopped and you've said something to maybe a waitress or whatever, and they seem genuinely surprised and thankful.
Most, you know, it's surprising the stigma that psychics have had. And now, like you say, you've been around when I go in a restaurant and I try to keep my mouth shut, and my wife will be looking at me, go ahead, tell her.
Just do it, do it.
But it's, you know, when you feel impelled to do that, and it's something that I'm not doing it to make a show. I'm not doing it to say, okay, and then when you want to call me for a private reading,
right.
It's not for that. I feel there's a reason. It's a reason that they're showing me to tell that individual something. And you can watch their face light up. And I mean, there's just so many times, and I couldn't tell you how many times I'll just stop and talk to people. But it's not for any personal gain. It's because...
And I know that's true because, what I was going to say is when you were saying about, and then call me for a reading.
Right.
We're the worst. Marty has never had a business card since I've known him. I don't have a business card. I do fairs and people go, well, can I have your card? And I'm like, well...
So much we don't have them, thank you, though.
I don't have a card. What do you mean you don't have a card? Well, kind of thing. Not that I don't do private readings or whatever, kind of word of mouth thing. Also, I was on vacation and we were in the middle of Virginia, and it was like the last hotel. It was like being Jesus. I mean, it was the last room in the place, whatever. And I didn't realize it was a crack kind of thing or whatever, because years ago it wouldn't have been. But okay, times have changed. And then so then we're sitting at breakfast, and I'm like, no. And there's a guy in a wheelchair, and his friends are kind of thuggish looking, or whatever, you know. We're in Virginia, and I'm like, okay. And I get something more. So I'm eating, thinking if I'm eating, I can't be talking. And then I'm starting to feel sick from eating, right? And so I finally got my work through. I said, look, for what it's worth. Okay, I said, I'm just going to say what I have to say, and then we're gone. And I started talking to him, And it was so strange because it must have almost been in his grandmother's voice, because I was like, whose voice is it? Where's that coming from? Kind of thing. And spoke to him, and he just started crying and so forth or whatever.
Right.
And he's going, only my grandmother could have known that. And I'm like, yeah, and she's a pushy broad because I ate my, kind of thing. I do believe that everybody has a certain degree that they're already tuned in.
Right.
But what you were telling Jane about her granddaughter and how it gets pushed out of us.
Right.
I hate to interrupt us, but talk about tuning in. We are ready to
tune out.
Tune out.
Tune out, and we want to thank all of our callers tonight.
And listeners that don't want to call in.
Yeah, we're going to give you one more chance now.
We will be back next week,
Yes.
Friday night. Don't forget to tune in. I can guarantee we're not going to have any technical problems because I'm a psychic.
That's right, and it will be Good Friday next Friday.
That's right.
And
It's Good Friday.
remember what you said.
Good news.
Thank you for listening in. You have been listening to the Truly Blessed Psychic Hour. Good night and God bless.
God bless.